What up, my crush? It's me, Fresh, coming to you live from a brand new phone. So, behold the footage, because it is glorious. Anyway, today, out of nowhere, we'll be watching Fresh vs. SnakeStaff, Chapter 8, Part 2. Audio only. Now, I know what you're thinking. What do you mean by audio only? Well, because it's been quite a while since the last few chapters were in place. I sort of encouraged Dudley, if you wanted to, you can make audio recordings, audio stories, essentially, audiobooks, of the next few parts of the chapters you had in mind. So there's this one, and Chapter 9, Part 1 and 2, which he'll also be making. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. So you're going to have to use your ears with me on this one, because I have no idea what to expect. Anyway, last time, if you remember, I sent the bunyip to take out his army of Daleks, which succeeded pretty darn well at the expense of the bunyip and the cybermites, I should say. I don't know what to say. I'm just excited. So anyway, Chapter 8, Part 2. Let's dive on in and find out how this chapter concludes.
The bunyip's body floats in space, accompanied by the now destroyed cybermite. We scroll up to see that although the bunyip lost its life, it managed to wipe out SnakeStaff Magic's Dalek fleet. A lightning bolt flashes and we cut to a tall mountain in the night. Small rumbles of thunder can be heard and we see the occasional flash of lightning within the clouds above. We cut to a stony path with a large boulder in the background. A dark cloud shoots down behind the boulder with the sound of a chilling screech. A hooded figure emerges from behind the boulder and begins walking up the path. The figure continues to walk and we see that it is slowly beginning to rain. The figure soon reaches a cave entrance and disappears into it. As the figure walks down the cave, we see at the entrance that the rain has gotten much heavier now. The figure soon reaches a small opening of the cave that is warmly lit up by a fire at the centre. The fire has a small cauldron set above it. The figure passes a perch. Venus the Mercrow is sleeping cosily on the perch. The figure removes the cloak now that he is hidden in the cave. It is Sour Powder.
Whoa!
Sour Powder approaches a book that is on a stand near the fire. He looks at the book and a paper checklist that he left on the page. The checklist is mostly complete except for one item that has not been checked off: the soul cake. Sour ticks the box and puts his arm.
That sounds familiar.
Revealing a soul cake with pink icing and multicolored sprinkles. Sour Powder approaches the cauldron, which contains a green liquid that is bubbling slightly from the heat of the fire. Sour Powder smiles as he drops the soul cake inside the cauldron and begins stirring the liquid with a large wooden spoon. It is finally time. Sour Powder reveals the ring that SnakeStaff had been wearing when he was defeated by Fresh Powder. Sour Powder holds the ring high above the cauldron between the tips of two of his claws, looking menacing. He is thrilled that this is finally happening. Sour Powder opens his two claws and the ring drops into the cauldron, slow motion style. The ring lands in the green liquid and disappears below the surface. The bubbles immediately become more erratic. Sour Powder backs away from the cauldron, still smiling. Venus, who is next to him, wakes up and immediately joins Sour Powder in staring at the cauldron. An explosion of green smoke heads up outwards from the cauldron, and the smoky shapes of two snakes slither out of the sides into the air and disappear. A shadow rises from the centre of the cauldron, with bright red eyes and a grin on its face. Yes! I'm finally back! Sour Powder and Venus keep the same expressions. Then the shadow spots them. And you two! As the shadow says this, the hands lunge for Sour Powder and Venus, who look nervous as they are grabbed and pulled towards the cauldron. Then we see SnakeStaff stood there in his original form, with an arm around each of them, looking thrilled. He hugs them tightly this way. Nice. You two are the best friends a YouTuber could ever have! They smile while they are being hugged. SnakeStaff lets go of them and looks at Sour Powder. When I sent you to go with Daniel to Harry Potter World disguised as me, I knew you wouldn't fail me when finding out about the dark magic on display.
What?
You see a photo of me and Daniel at Harry Potter World, but zooming in on SnakeStaff's face in the photo, we can see that it has Sour Powder's eyes.
That was Sour Powder the whole time?
SnakeStaff lets out a sigh. Now I can finally begin my new plans.
Oh my
Before SnakeStaff can
god.
do anything else, however, Sour Powder passes him a small communication device, looking worried. SnakeStaff looks at it and sees that it has 2 messages, which have clearly been read by Sour Powder already. 2 messages? He exclaims. He clicks on the first one. The robotic voice of Reaper 35 is heard. SnakeStaff magic. This is Reaper 35. You left me with an emergency contact for you in case you actually lost against Fresh Powder. If you're really out there and are returning somehow, or if Sour Powder is listening, then I have something important to tell you. It is all over the news of the world. Your fleet has been entirely wiped out by a creature Fresh Powder sent called the bunyip. It lost its life in the process, however. SnakeStaff sees a video showing the bunyip fighting his Daleks. If there are any updates, I'll get in contact. SnakeStaff looks at the device quietly. No, I can't believe it. The whole fleet, my Daleks, my mothership with the 10K cinema screen film room, the hot tub, it's all gone!
Nice.
SnakeStaff stands there quietly while Sour Powder and Venus look unhappy about the losses. SnakeStaff looks at the device again, seeing the other message is there to read still. SnakeStaff sighs and clicks on the other message. He is greeted by the flashing message that says Emergency Program Alpha activated.
Yep, what's this about?
SnakeStaff looks at it for a few seconds, and then a grin forms on his face. We see Sour Powder and Venus still look defeated, but then look astonished as they hear SnakeStaff chuckling. This is perfect! The ship mainframe was compromised. You know what that means? It means that in my absence, some crazy villain or another got a hold of my ships and altered my Daleks to make them loyal to him. As this is being said,
What?
a flashback to Davros moving to the left plays. Now that I think about it, my Daleks were showing some signs of skepticism. We see flashbacks to the moments that Dalek 1 and the others questioned SnakeStaff's methods. By going on the attack, Fresh has, to his credit, saved the world from an incredible danger, but has also done us three a big favour. Those half-wit Daleks, those traitors. Sarah and Venus exchange a look and then smile wickedly, feeling the same way as SnakeStaff. Now it's time for me to try something new. SnakeStaff approaches the book on the stand. Before the battle with Fresh, I did a lot of heavy research into magical legends and powers, and found one story detailing something that I think we can use. However, before we go to it, there is something else I discovered during my research that we have to investigate first. Thus, I'm going to have to initiate the portal plan. SnakeStaff turns a couple more pages. In our galaxy, there is a portal that allows you to travel anywhere you want, including through time. It only allows the user to have 2 return trips, and I believe I've found its location. We can use that portal to help me do the investigation I need to. Thankfully, I have enough teleportation magic left in my staff to send us through to the portal's location. Let's go. SnakeStaff, Sour Powder and Venus stand close together, and SnakeStaff uses his staff to teleport them away. We cut to the planet Saturn and zoom in on it.
Saturn?
SnakeStaff, Sour Powder and Venus appear in the center of a town. SnakeStaff begins to speak. Okay, this is the place where the 3 of them suddenly become aware of their surroundings and are shocked. The entirety of the town is paying tribute to Fresh Powder. The stalls are selling fresh merch. The walls have posters for a retelling of a Chapter 6 The Duel movie that plays all year round, featuring Fresh Powder. The citizens of the town are small blue beings that have small arms and no feet, sliding along the ground. Children can be seen nearby, holding balloons and wearing t-shirts with Fresh Powder's face on them. A huge letter sign can be seen above a building. Freshville. SnakeStaff stands nervously alongside Sour Powder and Venus. SnakeStaff speaks. Houston, we have her not in Kansas anymore.
Well then, wow. So much unveiled in just 7 minutes. So, SnakeStaff magic has been restored. I love the fact that you bring soul cakes into this, because I distinctly remember us talking about soul cakes in one of our first Halloween podcasts. And second of all, you mean to tell me that the entire trip to Harry Potter World, you sent Sour Powder, or Sour Powder went there himself in place of you, disguised as you? Oh my goodness. But, sheesh. An alien civilization. I'm assuming Saturn, unless I'm not hearing it right. Well, it's nice to know that people recognize my potential on other planets. But yeah, that was Chapter 8, Part 2. Now, it's on to Chapter 9, Part 1 and 2, whenever they come out. So, yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be great. So, I'm going to rewatch this. So, until next time, stay fresh, guys. And tune in for Chapter 9, whenever that may be. Stay fresh.